Everyone, Miss Cassandra here. How are you? I'm hoping you're having a great morning, and it's bright and early on Wednesday morning, and I'm recording the EEL portion of our Essentials lesson. This is week 20. We're working on the complex structure, the interrogative purpose. Our pattern is SVTDO-OCA, which we've been doing for several weeks. And I'm just going to be talking to you a little bit about prepositions and modifiers. So we're working on pages 311 to 324 in the EEL guide. So moms, you can follow along with me. I'm just going to read here from the guide. Some things that they wanted me to talk to you about was the preposition part of speech. Prepositional phrases are easy additions to most sentences. Armed with a memorized list of prepositions, students should be able to easily add these phrases to either the subject or predicate portion of the sentence. Everyone in my class is so great, and I think almost all of you did the preposition chart, so you should be able to be detectives and find prepositions in your sentences. However, sometimes prepositions act like prepositions, but sometimes they act like adverbs. So I wanted to just bring that to your attention today. So when you're diagramming and figuring out what part of speech different words are in the sentence, I don't want you to get confused. For example, I wrote down in this first example, he played outside. Now we all know that outside is in our preposition chart, and we can use that as a preposition. But in this case, outside is actually being used as an adverb, okay? This word right here, we're not using it as a preposition in this case. We're using it as an adverb. So be really careful. When we use a word that's on the preposition chart as a preposition in a sentence, always remember there will always be an object to the preposition, okay? So in our second example, we see he played outside the room. Now in this case, that made a prepositional phrase. A preposition is always the first word of a prepositional phrase, and in this case, we see that outside is our preposition, room is the object of our preposition, and we can put that, we can actually name our words properly that way, okay? So if you have any other questions about that, you could always reach out and ask me, but our book does a pretty good job of explaining it if you go to week 20 in the guide. I just wanted to touch on that with you. Another really cool thing I think that they reviewed with us, and I want to review with you, because I see sometimes we do have questions about that, and sometimes we have problems with that. So these are adjectival and adverbial modifiers. So we have some sentences here. I wrote them all out. If we look under here where we're at our adjectival modifiers right here, let me make my pen a little smaller. Okay, our first sentence that we're looking at is Boo Radley seemed scary. Okay, so we see that scary is a predicate adjective that gives us a little bit more information about Boo Radley. So in this sentence, scary is our adjective, right? It's modifying Boo Radley. In our next sentence, we see the mysterious and creepy Boo Radley seemed scary. So we have added some fun words to this sentence to give it some more color. These two words, mysterious and creepy, are our adjectives modifying Boo Radley because they're giving us some more information about him. These are called single word adjectives. So single word adjectives. All right, in our next sentence, it says Boo Radley in the novel To Kill a Mockingbird seemed scary. Our modifier in this sentence over here, look, in the novel To Kill a Mockingbird. This is our modifier. It's actually a prepositional phrase, okay? And it's modifying still Boo Radley. So that's a prepositional phrase, adjective. Okay? Now we'll go out to our next sentence. Boo Radley, who often appeared out of nowhere, seemed scary. So, wow, we're learning about complex sentences still. This is actually a complex sentence, and the subordinating or dependent clause is our adjective. So it's our adjectival modifier. So that's a dependent clause acting like an adjective. So we would actually, our dotted line would go under Boo Radley, right? Connecting who often appeared out of nowhere to our noun there, Boo Radley. Our next example is Boo Radley's character seemed crazy. Now this is something a little different. The actual adjective in this sentence is this possessive proper noun, right? So the noun is modifying the other noun of character. The subject of the sentence is character, and the possessive noun is our adjective here. So interesting, right? And in our last example for adjectival modifiers, Boo Radley, Harper Lee's character, seemed crazy. So we have an example of an appositive, renaming the subject of Boo Radley, right? We're renaming this subject. So we have an appositive acting like an adjective, right? Renaming. So the appositive is renaming the subject. It's not a true modifier like an adjective, but we've included it here so that you can compare it. It's kind of acting that way, although we do name it something a little different, called an appositive. Okay, so I'm going to put us on pause for a second while I just prepare for the next part of our lesson, okay? Okay, so I'm back, and now we're going to be talking about adverbial modifiers. Similar to our adjectival modifiers, which will give us more information about our noun because adjectives modify nouns. We're going to talk about adverbial modifiers that modify our verbs, okay? So the predicate portion of the sentence may have modifiers as well. If the modifiers are describing a verb in some way, then they will be adverbs. These adverbs may come in the form of single words, phrases, or clauses. Let's look at some examples here. So our first example here is Boo Radley scared Jen and Scott. That's our base sentence. So we're going to add some things to that sentence using adverbs to make it a little less boring, okay? And you've learned a few of these devices already. Boo Radley constantly scared Jen and Scott. Make this a little less fat, okay? Here, constantly scared, oh, I want to add one more word to the end because that would be fun. Daily. All right, so we'll add one more word. So Boo Radley constantly scared Jen and Scott daily. Constantly and daily are what we call single word adjectives. They answer the questions of how often and when Boo Radley scares them. So they're modifying scared, okay? The next sentence is Boo Radley scared Jen and Scott in the woods. Who knows what kind of phrase this is? Yes, it's a prepositional phrase, but it's an adverbial prepositional phrase answering the question of where they're getting scared, okay? The last example I have here is Boo Radley scared Jen and Scott when they least expected it. So here we have another complex sentence, and the subordinating clause is adverbial. So that subordinating clause is answering the question of when Jen and Scott were being scared by Boo Radley. In all of these examples, we've got, sorry, this should not say adjectives. That was a mistake. Single word, adverbs. Sometimes my brain goes faster than my hands. Okay, so here we have a prepositional phrase adverb. And here we have a dependent clause acting like an adverb. So hopefully this helped you just understand a little bit better how adverbs and adjectives can be used as modifiers in a sentence, and you should always be adding all of these different kinds of adjectives and adverbs to your sentences to make them more interesting. Okay? All right, I hope that helped you. All right, so I'm going to put us on pause again while I just show you guys some helps that we have, and I also want to use the quid and quo chart today, so we're going to do that also. So I'll put you on pause a moment while I clear the screen. Hi everyone, I'm back. I wanted to share with you this resource. It's in the connected section of the Classical Conversations Parent Helps. So in their website, I had shown you in the IEW video exactly where that was, but it's under the Essential section. If you look in the files, under week 20, it's called Essentials Guide for week 20, and it's excellent. I think several of you have been using it all year. I just want to show it to you again. It just makes your week so much easier. So if you just start using this while we're apart, it'll keep you on task when everything else is in such flux. You'll have kind of a skeleton of what to be doing every day with your children. So, you know, it's several pages. This is just the first page. I'm just going to show you the whole thing. So see the first page they actually combine your IEW and EEL assignments for you in a daily schedule form. They tell you, we went over preposition and prepositional phrase a little bit today. There is no new vocabulary for IEW, although I did encourage you to go ahead and finish the rest of it. Gives you a kind of a guide for daily assignments. And, you can actually check off the charts. You can write the charts in here and check off how many times your kids practice them and things like that. So if I'm going to move on to the next page, I think if I delete this page, we can go to the next one. Okay, then there's the spelling list that the guide gives you. They actually list them so nicely so you can drill the kids with their spelling. They have this week's rule here, punctuation and capitalization. There are homophones for the week. Really fun, important things for you to go over with your kids. They should know the difference between the homophones spelling as well as what they mean. So absolutely be doing that with your kids. I did that with mine when we were doing essentials, and it really has stayed with them. So I do highly recommend that you do the homophones every single week. The kids. Then they even have sheets here where you can copy each spelling word 3 times. You can drill the way you drill at home. You can copy each homophone pair 3 times. I used to make my children draw pictures of the homophones to show me that they knew what they meant. Moving on. There's another spelling word page. Oh, here they want the children to write them from dictation. So you would actually, after having them practice the spelling words, you would take a day to dictate the words to them. Then we have they have this already for you with the sentence up here for you to do all of your diagramming and sentence parsing sentences. So 1, there should be 5. Yes. Okay. And then there's the editing. They recopied an editing sheet. I don't know if this is the same one that's in the guide, but this is great. This has to do with the biology from this year. This is very, very nice. So you can actually have the kids edit these problems. They're double spaced. It's just done so nicely. And you see where it says on the bottom here, editing exercise at CC Connected, Rebecca Webster, C. Webster, she's the one who put this together. Thank you, Rebecca. and I do recommend that you use this. And for next year, definitely print all this stuff out this summer. I'm sure she'll have a cycle 3 up, and just use it. Just, bite the bullet, make your notebooks, and then you're set for the year. And there's even this really fun puzzle. So I love this. I think it just makes things so much easier for us. Okay, so I'm going to put us on pause real quick. I'm going to put up a quid and quo sheet, and we're going to do one sentence using our quid and quo sheet. Okay. Okay, so I'm back with our kind of scary looking quid and quo detailed format sheet. So I went ahead and wrote down the sentence already. One word per block. So the way I use this sheet is each block gets one word. So this sentence is, what made her happy when he arrived home early? Now, this is a complex structure. I'm going to go ahead and circle that because there is an independent and a dependent clause here. There is a question mark at the end of the sentence. If you look at the original, I'm not writing it because I'm doing the quid and quo sheet right now. I'm not doing the other sheet. So it is a interrogative sentence purpose. And we have two kinds of patterns. We have SVT, OCA, and we have an SVI here. Okay, the second part of the sentence. Okay, so what made her happy when he arrived home early? So let's go ahead and we're going to write our usage on top here in this gray. So our independent clause is what made her happy, these first 4 words. So, and our dependent clause is when he arrived home early. So let's do our first independent clause. What made her happy? So what is what made her happy? Okay, so that's going to be our subject pronoun. What is being said about what? What made? So that's going to be our verb. What made whom? Her. Can her replace or describe what? No, it can't. So that becomes our direct object, and we're going to label verb transitive. Can happy replace, describe, or follow her? Yes, it can describe her. So that becomes our object complement adjective. You guys get that? We've been doing it a few weeks, so I'm hoping that you're getting it. When he arrived home early, subordinating clause, right? And it's telling us when, so it's going to be an adverbial subordinating clause, okay? When is our subordinating conjunction, right? That's our conjunction right here. I'll put a little S, subordinating conjunction. Who arrived? He. So that's our subject pronoun. What is being said about he? Arrived, right? He arrived. So that's our verb. He arrived where? He arrived home. It's telling us where. So that becomes our adverb. He arrived home when? Early. So we're answering the question of when and where. So these are both adverbs. And we have an intransitive verb here. No direct object. Okay? So moving down our quid and quo, what we do is we answer these questions. So if we look under what type of it's a pronoun, so we're going to go down to the pronoun section. What type of pronoun is this? What? It answers a question, right? So we know it's interrogative. So I'm going to try to write really tiny here. Let's see, interrogative, right? So we would write interrogative here. That's for our pronoun. Do we have the answer to number? Not really, because it could be a lot of things that made her happy. It could have been one thing. So that's kind of unknown. So it's not singular plural. So we're going to say unknown. Okay. What case is this? Is it nominative? Is it objective? Or is it possessive? If you go back to your pronoun chart, you would know that this is a nominative pronoun. It names something. Although we don't know exactly what that is, it does name something. And gender is unknown, right? Okay, very good. All right, so going to our next word, which is made. Made is our verb. So we're going to go down to our verb section. So what type of verb is this? Good, it's transitive, right? So I'm just going to put T-R-A-N-S, transitive. What tense is it? Present, past, or future? It's the past tense, right? And it's simple. So it's simple, past. And that's from our verb charts. You need to memorize those charts, okay? We're going to skip form. We're not going to go that far. That's a little bit advanced. We're just going to keep this simple for today. Number. Do we know if our number is singular or plural? Nope. In this case, we don't know. It's unknown. We're not sure. Some cases you definitely know, but we don't know in this case. We do know our voice from our verb chart. Our voice is the active voice. And our mood we also know. It's in the indicative mood. And again, this might seem hard, but you can go ahead and go through your charts, and all these answers are in your charts. So if you do the quid and quo a lot, if it's something you really enjoy, you love puzzles, that works really, really nicely, okay? Now let's go up to her. Now her is also a noun, right? So let's go to our noun section. So when we look at her, it's actually a pronoun. What kind of pronoun is it? It's personal, right? This is a personal pronoun, right? It is singular. We know that. So let's see, number. We're going to put singular. And we know that it's the objective case. Okay. It's the direct object. So it's the objective case. We can answer that question. And we also know that it is feminine, right? And I'm going to leave some of these empty. Maybe you can do some hunting and you can figure out the rest of this. I just got you started. So we'll be here for a really long time just going through it. I think you guys know where I'm coming from. The guide has there's a lot of guidance in our EEL guide for this, but this is a really fun thing to do. And I'm not saying to do it with every sentence because it takes a lot of time, but maybe you can pick one sentence a week and do the quid and quote format. Okay, well, that's all for today. It was so great meeting with you. Have a wonderful community day. I know Monica's going to be on. It's about 6:50 now, so she'll be on at 9:30 this morning to work with you. You'll probably be looking at my video after that. But I love you guys. I really miss you. I'm praying for you. Let's just close out in prayer. Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you for this Lake Grove community, for all the students in my class and their families. Lord, I pray for everyone who may be a little fearful at this time, and I ask you, God, to bring them that peace that passes all understanding, that they would be resting in the assurance that you never blink, that you never turn your head away, and that you know everything that's going to happen before it even happens, and that this is no surprise to you, and that you hold each of our lives in your hand, and you're good and you love us. Be glorified, God, today in my life and in the lives of all of these families watching. And until we meet next week, Lord, keep us safe, keep us healthy, keep us wise, and use us. Use us to spread your word. Use us to serve our neighbor. Use us in the way that you have given us to work, God, some of us are going out and building field hospitals. Some of us are doing it from our homes where we are literally talking to people every day about you. Lord, use your people. May we be like a city on a hill, God. In your holy name I pray. Amen. Okay, guys, I will probably be making another video for you next week. Bye.